Phenomenal, and today we continue with the valuation chapter. Okay, market value. What do you understand by market? Forms of value. So different forms of value उसमें क्या आएगा? Market value आएगा. The market value of a property is the amount which can be obtained at any particular time from the open market if the property is put for sale. That means जो भी आप property purchase करते हो, ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल आज आपने कोई प्रॉपर्टी परचेज की है तो उसकी जब आज वैल्यू जो भी है दैट इज कॉल्ड मार्केट वैल्यू. द मार्केट वैल्यू विल डिफर फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम अकॉर्डिंग टू द डिमांड एंड सप्लाई. डिमांड और सप्लाई के हिसाब से मार्केट वैल्यू चेंज होती रहती है. द मार्केट वैल्यू डिपेंड्स ऑन चेंजेस इन द इंडस्ट्री, मींस ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट, चेंजेस ऑन द फैशंस एंड कॉस्ट ऑफ मटेरियल एंड लेबर. ओके, तो इंडस्ट्री में कोई चेंज होता है, देन ट्रांसपोर्ट, इंडस्ट्री की वजह से भी आप देखोगे कई अलग अलग कंपनीज की रवैया आती है, अलग अलग कंपनीज की जो भी प्रोडक्ट आती है उसमें चेंज होता है. ओके, उसके प्राइस में चेंज होता है, तो मार्केट वैल्यू उसके हिसाब से चेंज होती रहती है. देन मींस ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट है, चेंजेस ऑफ द फैशंस है, फैशन में जो भी चेंज होता है उसकी वजह से भी मार्केट वैल्यू चेंज होती रहती है. ओके, देन कॉस्ट ऑफ मटेरियल्स एंड लेबर, मटेरियल्स और लेबर कितने चाहिए उसके हिसाब से भी मार्केट वैल्यू रहती है. ओके, उसकी कैलकुलेशन भी मार्केट वैल्यू में होती है. देन बुक वैल्यू. Book value is defined as the value of property shown in the account book in that particular year. Okay, that is the original cost less the total depreciation till that year. That means स्टार्टिंग में अभी जब भी आपने कोई आइटम ली होगी तो उसकी जो वैल्यू है, देन नेक्स्ट ईयर जो भी उसकी वैल्यू होती है उसमें डेप्रिसिएशन हमें क्या करना पड़ता है, डेप्रिसिएशन की गिनती करनी पड़ती है. दैट मींस बुक वैल्यू की वैल्यू अकॉर्डिंग टू द डेप्रिसिएशन. फॉर एग्जाम्पल 30 ईयर के लिए 30 ईयर से पहले की बात करें तो 30 ईयर से पहले की बात करें तो उसकी मार्केट वैल्यू ये थी, उसमें डेप्रिसिएशन कम था. देन नेक्स्ट ईयर बात करें तो उसमें डेप्रिसिएशन डिडक्ट होता, तो लास्ट में कम होते होते उसकी क्या रहेगी, स्क्रैप वैल्यू रहेगी. ओके, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड द बुक वैल्यू. दैट मींस ईयर वाइज जो भी चेंज होता है वैल्यू में वो डिक्रीज होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड बुक वैल्यू. और उस फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर ईयर वो वैल्यू हम कैलकुलेट करते हैं. दैटफॉर बुक वैल्यू इज इक्वल टू एट द एंड ऑफ particular year, that is original cost minus total depreciation till the end of that year. The book value of a property gradually reduces at a constant amount year after year up to the limit of gross scrap value, that is up to its utility period. Book value is applicable on the building and movable properties but on land. In market value, then the book value indicates property for the profit for the seller. In market value, then the book value indicates market value ये है, then next book value ये है, indicates profit for the seller. Okay? Difference between market value and scrap value. When a property is sold in an open market, the amount when a property is sold in an open market, the amount obtained is called the market value. Book value क्या है, ओरिजिनल वैल्यू माइनस टोटल डेप्रिसिएशन टिल द एंड ऑफ दैट ईयर. फॉर एग्जांपल आप 30 ईयर के लिए वैल्यू ऑफ अ प्रॉपर्टी इज दिस. ओके, आफ्टर 5 इयर्स वैल्यू ऑफ अ प्रॉपर्टी कितनी है. ओके, तो वो कैलकुलेट करने के लिए टोटल डेप्रिसिएशन कॉस्ट फॉर 5 इयर्स कैलकुलेट करके ओरिजिनल वैल्यू जो भी है उसमें से डिडक्ट करना होता है. दैट इज कॉल्ड बुक वैल्यू. ओके, मार्केट वैल्यू की the value is fixed by purchaser. Okay, the value is fixed by purchaser. The value is fixed by the rate of depreciation. जो भी परचेजर है, ओके, परचेजर के हिसाब से वो वैल्यू चेंज हो तो वो फिक्स करता है वैल्यू. ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने कोई भी प्रॉपर्टी ली है तो मैं फिक्स करूंगा कि भाई या मैं फिक्स करूंगी कि इसकी वैल्यू ये होनी चाहिए. ओके, अकॉर्डिंग टू द मार्केट value. Okay, then the value is fixed by the rate of depreciation. Book value में क्या है, the value is fixed by the rate of depreciation. Depreciation कितना होता है वैल्यू में उसके हिसाब से बुक वैल्यू फिक्स होती है. market value may increase or decrease as per situation. Market value क्या होती है, increase or decrease होती है as per the situation or as per the market, as per the demand and supply. The book value decreases with the time, but the non-degradable metals book value remains constant. जो भी मेटल है ओके तो उसमें बुक वैल्यू सेम रहता है, बट प्रॉपर्टी के रिलेटेड बात करें तो प्रॉपर्टी में बुक वैल्यू डिक्रीजिंग होती है विद द टाइम. The value may be constant for a period. इसमें value for particular period same होती है. The value cannot be constant rather than it is a gradual fall. Okay, इसमें जो भी value है वो constant नहीं रहती है because of a gradual fall. This is applicable to any type of property. This value is this value is applicable to any type of property, and this is not applicable in case of land or metal articles like steel, copper, gold, etc. The market value is considered for the valuation, okay, and the book value is considered for the accounts book of a company. Market value does not depend on cost of property. The book value depends on cost of property. Okay, market value में cost of property कितनी है वो depend नहीं करती है. Okay, जबकि book value is depends on cost of property because आप market value को ध्यान में रखते ही आप क्या find out करोगे, book value. So market value minus that means original cost माइनस क्या आएगा, टोटल डेप्रिसिएशन till the year. Okay, जो भी for a particular year ऐसा ले सकते हैं. Then market value depends on force of demand and supply, development of area. Book value is not variable due to the demand, supply or development of the area. Then next one is scrap value. The scrap value is the value or dismantled material of a property at the end of its utility period. That means for example आपने कोई मशीन खरीदा है, वो मशीन की लाइफ ओवर हो गई है, बंद पड़ गया है, तो उसके सब स्पेयर पार्ट्स वगैरह जो भी है वो उसको आप डिसमेंटल करोगे और उसको बेचोगे और कोई वैल्यू मिलेगी. That is called scrap value. For a building, when the life is over at the end of its utility period, the dismantled materials such as steel, bricks, timber, etc. will fetch a certain amount, which is the scrap value of the building. The scrap value of a building may be about 10% of its original, 10% of its total cost of the construction. Okay. So scrap value कितनी होती है? So maybe about 10% of its total cost of construction. The cost of dismantling and removal of the rubbish material is deducted from the total receipts from the sale to get the scrap value. तो जो भी हम रबिश मटेरियल और जो भी है उसको डिसमेंटल और रिमूवल करने का जो भी चार्ज है वो हम रिसीप्ट में से डिडक्ट करेंगे तो हमें क्या मिलेगी, स्क्रैप वैल्यू मिलेगी. फॉर एग्जांपल कोई बिल्डिंग है तो बिल्डिंग को डिसमेंटल करने के लिए आपको जेसीबी वगैरह मंगवाना पड़ेगा. ओके, तो ही वो डिसमेंटल होगा. ओके, तो उसके लिए वो सब तुड़वाने के लिए उसको डिसमेंटल करने के लिए हम क्या करेंगे, जो भी खर्चा करेंगे वो डिडक्ट स्क्रैप वैल्यू में से करेंगे. तो आपको जो भी कॉस्ट है उसका कॉस्ट हम डिडक्ट करेंगे तो आपको क्या मिलेगा, स्क्रैप वैल्यू मिलेगा. स्क्रैप वैल्यू इज आल्सो नोन एज जंक वैल्यू और डिमोलिशन वैल्यू. Then next one is salvage value. It is the estimated value of a property at the end of its useful life without being dismantled. Okay, it is generally accounted by deducting the depreciation from its new cost. Okay, तो जो भी new cost है उसका उसमें से depreciation deduct करेंगे तो आपको क्या मिलेगा, salvage value मिलेगा. But there are times when salvage value is sizable amount. There are other times it is minus quantity. For example, the scrap value of RCC work will be negative as dismantling and removal will be costly. Okay, तो salvage value यानी जो भी वैल्यू बचती है, okay, that is called salvage value. It is the estimated value of a property at the end of its useful life without being dismantled. It is generally accounted by deducted the depreciation from its new cost. Okay. But there are times when salvage value is of sizable amount. There are other times it is minus quantity. That means for example आप आरसीसी वर्क लो तो आरसीसी वर्क में क्या कॉस्ट स्क्रैप वैल्यू क्या जाएगी, नेगेटिव में जाएगी. क्यों नेगेटिव में जाएगी? बिकॉज उसको डिसमेंटल वर्क, रिमूवल वर्क वो बहुत कॉस्टली होता है. तो हमारे पास जो स्क्रैप वैल्यू मिलनी चाहिए वो नहीं मिलेगी. तो वो सब करने के बाद जो भी वैल्यू बचती है दैट इज कॉल्ड साल्वेज वैल्यू. ओके. देन एकोमोडेशन वैल्यू. ये कैसे वैल्यू हम बोल सकते हैं? सैल्वेज वैल्यू दैट मींस कोई भी प्रॉपर्टी है उसको डिसमेंटल किए बिना उसकी जो भी वैल्यू आती है एट द एंड ऑफ इट्स यूजफुल लाइफ. ओके, दैट इज कॉल्ड सैल्वेज वैल्यू. Okay, it is generally accounted by deducting the depreciation from its new cost. Okay, but there are times when salvage value is of sizable amount. That means salvage value ज़्यादा है. Okay, sizable amount में है. Then there are other times it is minus quantity. That means आरसीसी वर्क की बात करें हम तो आरसीसी वर्क को डिसमेंटल करने का खर्चा ज़्यादा होता है. ओके, डिसमेंटल और रिमूव करने का खर्चा ज़्यादा होता है. तो जो भी हमें स्क्रैप वैल्यू मिलनी चाहिए वो नहीं मिलेगी, वो माइनस में जाएगी. ओके, यानी हमें उल्टा पे करना पड़ेगा. दैट इज कॉल्ड सैल्वेज वैल्यू. एकोमोडेशन वैल्यू, द वैल्यू ऑफ सराउंडिंग एग्रीकल्चर. सैल्वेज वैल्यू क्या है? कोई भी प्रॉपर्टी को डिसमेंटल कर किए बिना उसकी क्या वैल्यू आती है, दैट इज कॉल्ड सैल्वेज वैल्यू. जबकि जो आगे वैल्यू थी स्क्रैप वैल्यू. ओके, तो स्क्रैप वैल्यू में क्या है कि डिसमेंटल करने के बाद जो वैल्यू हमें मिलती है दैट इज कॉल्ड स्क्रैप वैल्यू. जब और देन नेक्स्ट वन इज एकोमोडेशन वैल्यू. द वैल्यू ऑफ अ सराउंडिंग एग्रीकल्चर लैंड ऑफ अ सिटी व्हिच इज एक्सपांडिंग considerably will be more if the land is covered into the accommodation land. After obtaining approval from the competent authority, the value of such land is known as the accommodation value. The value of the surrounding agricultural land of a city which is expanding, okay, considerably will be more if the land is converted into the accommodation land after obtaining the approval from the competent authority. The value of such land is known as the accommodation value. The accommodation value is greater than that of agricultural land and less than that of a building land. Okay. Scrap value and salvage value. Scrap value is the value of the dismantled material of a property at the end of its utility period. और यहाँ पे क्या है? It is the estimated value of a property at its useful life without being dismantled. Then the scrap value is counted in the calculation of depreciation of a property at the rate 10% of the cost of the building. Ordinarily, the salvage value factor in the calculation of the depreciation is omitted by accounting the scrap value. That means calculation of depreciation हमें क्या करना है? salvage value में count नहीं करना है. तो आपको जो value मिलती है that is called salvage value. Property is dismantled, property is not dismantled, then scrap value is not counted as a minus quantity. जबकि इसमें क्या है? There are times when it is a minus quantity. The scrap value of an asset is morally sale of scrap and has a limitation. Salvage value dominates scrap value in the calculation of the depreciation. Then distress value. In case of a property is sold at a lower price than the market value at the time, it is said to have a distressed value. That means such distress value may be due to any of the following reasons. First, financial difficulties of the seller, fear of war, riots, then earthquakes, quarrel among partners, then court decrease. That means कई बार हमें क्या है, कोई प्रॉपर्टी लीधी हो उसका कोई भी हमारे पास कुछ भी नहीं होता है. फॉर एग्जांपल डॉक्यूमेंट कुछ भी नहीं है तो क्या हम कम प्राइस में सेल करना पड़ता है बिकॉज आपके पास कोई प्रूफ नहीं है. ओके, तो उसकी जो वैल्यू मिलती है दैट इज कॉल्ड, जो भी वैल्यू होती है मार्केट वैल्यू या मार्केट वैल्यू से और बुक वैल्यू से भी मार्केट वैल्यू से वो कम हमें देनी पड़ती है। फॉर एग्जांपल हमने कुछ परचेज किया, ओके, तो परचेज करने के बाद हमें जरूरत पड़ी, तो पैसे की जरूरत पड़ी, तो हम क्या करेंगे, वो जितने पैसे की, फॉर एग्जांपल जितने में परचेज किया था, वो पैसे की जरूरत की वजह से हम क्या करते हैं, उसको जो भी चीज है उसको हम कम प्राइस में बेच देते हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड डिस्ट्रेस वैल्यू। ओके, देन थॉट डिक्री, then insufficient knowledge of the seller, intention to favor purchasers, etc. Monopoly value. In some cases, the property possesses certain advantage with respect to the adjoining property due to its location, size, shape, etc. The owner may demand fancy price. Such value of property is known as monopoly value. Then replacement value. It is present value of property or portions thereof if that these have to be replaced at the current market rates. Okay. Then investment value. Investment value of a property indicates the amount offered by the prudent and purchaser by keeping in view the advantages of the possessing the property from investment point of view. Okay, that means investment value of a property indicates the amount offered by the prudent purchaser by keeping in view the advantages of possessing the property from investment point of view. That means कोई चीज आप परचेज करते हो, उसका वो उसमें से कुछ बेनिफिट लेने के लिए, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट वैल्यू। दैट मीन्स आप नहीं बोलते हमसे भाई ये प्रॉपर्टी हमने ली है फॉर इन्वेस्टमेंट पर्पस, ओके, दैट मीन्स वो प्रॉपर्टी लेके आपको उसका जो भी है बेनिफिट, उसमें से जो भी बेनिफिट मिलने वाला है वो ध्यान में रख के आप इन्वेस्ट करते हो, दैट इज कॉल्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट वैल्यू। Sentimental value, that means when a property is sold or purchased at a higher value than the market value due to the playing of sentiments in the mind of possessing the property from investment point of view. Okay, that means जो भी रेट है मार्केट रेट है उससे ज्यादा में आप बेचते हो, that is called sentimental value। उसका प्रॉफिट को ध्यान में रख के आप उसको ज्यादा में बेच रहे हो, ज्यादा वैल्यू में बेच रहे हो, ज्यादा कॉस्ट में बेच रहे हो। ओके, तो उसको क्या बोलते हैं, सेंटिमेंटल वैल्यू। दिस मे कॉज ड्यू टू द फॉलोइंग रीजंस, द ओनर इज सो मच अटैच्ड that he demands fancy prices. The situate class of property may suit a prospective purchase. If a property is for sale and two prospective purchasers are determined to outbid each other and selling price shall definitely to have in the market. That means bargaining नहीं करते कि चलो ये प्रॉपर्टी नहीं, कुछ नई चीज के लिए नहीं हम लेते हैं कि भाई चलो इसकी प्राइस में ये दूंगा, इसकी प्राइस में ये दूंगा, तो वो उसको दैट इज कॉल्ड सेंटिमेंटल वैल्यू। जितनी प्राइस उसकी होनी चाहिए उससे ज्यादा वैल्यू मिलती है, दैट इज कॉल्ड सेंटिमेंटल वैल्यू। देन speculative value. A proposal to construct a national highway or airport or water line on the line in an undeveloped area will cause a rise in the value, and speculators purchase such property that will price as far as possible and known as speculative value and sell it again at profit after a short duration without spending any further amount towards development. उसमें डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है, वो जमीन लो प्राइस में परचेज करता है और फिर उसको बेच देता है हायर वैल्यू में, दैट इज कॉल्ड स्पेक्युलेटिव वैल्यू। Then annual value, the local authority has to decode the annual value of a property so that taxes can be calculated on that basis. The local authority has to decode the annual value of the property so that taxes can be calculated on that basis. Such annual value of a property has to be fixed by observing the principle of rating valuation. Then next one is potential value. When a property is capable of fetching more return due to its alternative use or by advantageous planning or by providing some development work, such inherent value of a property is known as a potential value. Occupation value, when the purchasers are attracted to own the property for occupying for their personal uses, which is regarded as a necessity and no satisfactory substitutes and then exists, then it's this is known as occupation value when purchasers are attracted to own the property for occupying for their personal uses, which is regarded as a necessity and not satisfactory substitutes exist, then this is known as the occupation value. Okay. Present value, the value of the property calculated from the present market rate, is known as the present value. The next one is factors affecting the value of the property. First one is demand and supply for buyers compared to a number of the properties available for the sale in a locality will result in low price. Few buyers compared to a number of the properties available for the sale in a locality will result in low price for the property and vice versa. Then maintenance, if the property is properly maintained, its life will increase and its value will be higher. Rise in the population, population में rise होगा तो भी क्या होगा, rise in population due to the growth of new industries will result in heavy demand of land, building and properties. And abnormal conditions, due to the abnormal insecure conditions like near war, earthquake, etc., values may drop and remain so for a considerable period. Okay. Then next, cost of construction. The present cost of the construction affects the value due to the rapid change of price index in comparison with the rate of the depreciation. Purpose of purchase. The purpose for which property is purchased gently affect the value of the property. If a land is purchased for a residence, its value will be higher. Then Town Planning Act, if the planning authority of a locality decides to convert a particular residential zone into a commercial zone, there will be sudden shooting up to the values in that area. Factors affecting the value of a property में क्या है, climate condition. In a region of climate condition or a good climate, more or more people will prefer to stay and will result in higher value of the property. If the then next one is life, new property has higher value and old property has lower value. Then improvement by public schemes, the taking up of public services scheme like water line, sewer line, means of transport, okay, etc. to an area will tend to make the area more attractive and will be closely followed by increase in the land value. Migration of the people to or from the area may increase or decrease the land prices. Then interest of the scheduled bank. By the lowering of the scheduled bank interest, higher may be the interest of the people for making money available for the investment in property and vice versa.
Annuity. We discuss with miscellaneous topics, that is annuity. What do you understand by annuity? Annuity is the neat installments of annual and periodical payment for repayment of the capital amount invested in a property for a specified period. यहाँ पे एक मीनिंग लिखा है, एन एन्युटी इज अ सीरीज ऑफ पेमेंट्स मेड एट इक्वल इंटरवल्स. जो भी हम लोन भरते हैं दैट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एन्युटी. Example of the annuity are the regular deposits to a saving account, monthly home mortgage payments, monthly insurance payments, pension payments, etc. that is included in annuity. Generally, annuity indicates annual payments. Annuity is either paid at the beginning or at the end of the year. Types of annuity. Annuity certain. If an annuity is payable at the end of each period for a certain number of years, it is known as a annuity certain. Then annuity due. When the annuity is payable at the beginning of each of the year and payments continue for definite number of the periods, it is known as the annuity due. Annuity certain, that means if an annuity is payable at the end of each period for a certain number of years, that means कई वर्षों के बाद जो भी हमें पे करना होता है, that is called बैंक में पे करना होता है या कोई भी अपने लोन वगैरह, तो इस certain years के बाद आपको जो पे करना होता है that is called annuity certain. Then next, deferred annuity. When the annuity commences after a few years from the actual date of capital investment, it is known as a deferred annuity. When the annuity commences after the few years from the actual date of the capital investment, it is known as a deferred annuity. Then perpetual annuity. When the annuity is receivable for an indefinite period, it is known as a perpetual annuity. Through annuity means annual payments. The amount of the annuity may be paid by 12 monthly installments or quarterly or half yearly installment. Then amortization. When the payment of a debit is made by a series of the equal periodic installments, it is known as a amortization. Then this is accumulation of the sinking fund at the compound interest for the payment of the debit. Each periodic payment includes two provisions: a certain portions of the capital and amount of the interest on the outstanding debit. Installment of the loan fee is equal to 1 plus SF. Okay, तो क्या आएगा? LL capital L small l is equal capital I small l is equal to P bracket में 1 plus I raised to n into 1 I divided by 1 plus I raised to n minus 1, where P is equal to amount of loan, I is equal to rate of interest, n is equal to number of the annual investment, SF is equal to I bracket में लिखना है 1 plus I raised to n under कंप्लीट करके उस पे रेस्ट टू 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. Okay, SF is equal to sinking fund is equal to I divided by 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. Sinking fund क्या है? Sinking fund is an amount which has to be set aside at fixed interval of time out of the gross income, so that at the end of the useful life of the building or property, the fund accumulates to the initial cost of the property. A building, a machine, a vehicle, etc. becomes useless after certain years, that is at the end of its life. Hence, it is necessary to make some provisions whereby the owner can accumulate to a sum required for rebuilding the premises or can replace the article. Okay, so वो for example उसकी कोई भी इंस्ट्रूमेंट है, उसकी लाइफ ख़त्म हो गई है, तो उसको रिप्लेस कर सके, उसके लिए पैसे चाहिए, तो वो एक्यूमुलेट करना, उसके लिए पैसे इकट्ठे करना. ओके, दैट इज कॉल्ड सिंकिंग फंड. For this purpose, sinking fund is periodically collected and deposited in a bank to get the highest compound interest. Or sinking fund insurance policy is constructed with the insurance company throughout the life of the building. For the land, sinking fund is not required. Okay. Year's purchase is defined as the capital sum required to be invested in order to receive an annuity of ₹1 at certain rate of interest. Okay, to get 1% per year at the interest rate 1, amount required to be deposited is equal to 1 into 1 divided by n. Okay, to get x rupees per year at an interest of I, amount required to be deposited x into 1 divided by I. Here yp is equal to 1 divided by I. Therefore, capitalized value is equal to net income into years purchase. Therefore, CV, capitalized value is equal to net income into years purchase. For example, a person wants net income of ₹5,000 per year at the rate of interest 6%. Amount required to be deposited is equal to small x into I divided by I. Small x कितना है? 5,000 into 1 divided by I. रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट कितना है? 0.06. तो कितना आएगा? 26,333. Here the rate of interest of 5% is equal to 1 divided by 5% is equal to 1 divided by 0.0 yp, that is for yp. Yp is equal to 1 divided by 0.05 is equal to 20. If the rate of interest is 6%, the yp is equal to 1 divided by 0.06, that means 16.666. Then if rate of interest is 7%, the yp is equal to 1 divided by 0.07 is equal to 14.28. When the sinking fund is not included in the outgoings, interest and sinking fund both to be included in the amount of deposition. If the sinking fund is not included in outgoings, interest and sinking fund both to be included in the amount deposition. In this case, yp is equal to I plus sinking fund, where sinking fund is equal to IS divided by 1 plus IS raised to n minus 1, where I is equal to rate of interest for the principal, then IS is equal to rate of interest of the sinking fund, single rate YP. To calculate the YP, when the rate of the interest on the capital investment and the rate of the interest for the deposit of sinking fund is considered same, then this is known as YP. That means yearly. That means yearly payment. Okay. For single rate, that is I is equal to IS. Due rate YP, to calculate the YP when the rate of interest on the capital is different from the rate of the interest on the sinking fund. This is known as a YP for due rate, normally I greater than IS. The next one is capitalized value. The capitalized value of a property is the sum or amount the interest on which at the highest prevailing rate would be equal to the net income out of the property. To know the capitalized value of a property is required to know the net income from property and the highlighted prevailing rate of the interest. If the property produces a net income of rupees 5,000 per annum and a purchaser desires 8% of return on this capital, he should pay or invest 5,000 into 100 divided by 8. Therefore, rupees 62,500 maximum for the property. Okay, this amount rupees 62,500 is the capitalized value of the property. If the purchaser pays more, he will not 8% return on the capital. If the purchaser pays less, he will obtain greater return than 8%. Thus, higher the value of purchase, the lower will be the capitalized value of a property and vice versa.
Miscellaneous topics. उसमें capitalized value minus net income into year's purchase. That is, capitalized value is equal to, okay, net income into year's purchase. Therefore, capitalized value is equal to net income into year's purchase. Capitalized value is equal to 5,000 into 1 divided by 0.08, that is 62,500. Example number 1. A building has a monthly rent of rupees 1,500. Total outgoing are 20% of the gross rent. Rate of interest of the capital is 8%. Find the capitalized value of the building. Monthly rent कितना है? रुपीज 1,500 है. Annual rent तो कितना होगा? 12 into 1,500 is equal to 18,000. Outgoing कितना है? तो outgoing is 0.2% of 18,000. That is 3,600. Net income is equal to 18,000 minus 3,600, that is 3,600 is equal to rupees 14,400. Rate of interest is equal to 8% is equal to 0.08. Year's purchase is equal to years purchase is equal to 1 divided by I, that is 1 divided by 0.08 is equal to 12.5. Capitalized value is equal to net income into years purchase. Capitalized value is equal to net income into years purchase. CV is equal to 14,400 into 12.5. CV is equal to rupees 1,80,000. A leasehold property is to produce a net income of rupees 15,000 per annum for next 50 years. What is the value of property? The owner desires 8% of return on his capital value, and the sinking fund to replace the capital is also to accumulate at 8%. What will be the value of the property if the rate of interest of the redemption of the capital is 3%? Here net income is equal to rupees 15,000, I is equal to 8%, IS is equal to 8%, and is equal to 50 years. Years purchase is equal to आपके पास फॉर्मूला है 1 divided by I plus SF, that is 1 divided by 0.08 plus ये SF कैसे फाइंड आउट किया, तो यहाँ पे एक फॉर्मूला है IS divided by 1 plus IS raised to n minus 1. IS का वैल्यू है 0.08, 1 plus 0.08 raised to 50 minus 1, तो क्या वैल्यू आएगा 0.001743, that is 12.233. Capitalized value is equal to net income into years purchase. Net income कितना है? Net income is 15,000. Years purchase कितना है? 12.233, that is 1,83,495. Okay. Capitalized value when the rate of interest of the redemption of the capital is 3%, that is 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 equal to 3%, so years purchase is equal to 1 divided by I plus SF, that is 1 divided by 0.08 plus 0.008867. तो SF का वैल्यू कैसे फाइंड आउट करेंगे, तो ये सब वैल्यूज पुट अप करके हम SF का वैल्यू फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं 0.008867. ओके, तो ये जो SF का वैल्यू आया वो यहाँ पे रखना है, आपको कैपिटलाइज वैल्यू मिलेगा नेट इनकम इंटू इयर्स परचेज. नेट इनकम है 15,000 एंड इयर्स परचेज कितना आएगा 11.252 जो आपने फाइंड आउट किया, तो आंसर इज 1,68,680. The owner of a property wants to sell his property at an offer of rupees 10 lakh. The details are under. One monthly rent is equal to 7,500. Estimated life of the property is equal to 25 years. Outgoing is equal to 30% of the gross rent. Rate of interest on the capital is equal to 7.25%, and the redemption of the capital is 5.2%. Whether it will be advisable to sell the property or not. I is equal to 7.25 and I is equal to 5.2%. N is equal to first of all 25 years है, तो monthly rent is equal to 7,500, that is monthly rent is equal to 7,500. Therefore annual gross rent is equal to 12 into 7,500, that is 90,000. Then outgoing is equal to 30% of gross rent. Therefore outgoing is equal to 0.3 into 90,000, that is 27,000. Net interest is equal to 90,000 minus 27,000, that is 63,000 rupees. Years purchase is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus SF. SF की वैल्यू कैसे फाइंड आउट करेंगे, तो उसकी फॉर्मूला हमारे पास है IS ब्रैकेट में 1 plus IS raised to n minus 1, that is IS की वैल्यू हमारे पास है 0.052. 1 plus 0.052 raised to 25 minus 1, that is 0.0204. that is ये वैल्यू हम SF की यहाँ पे रख देंगे, तो 1 divided by 0.0725 plus 0.0204, that is 0.0929, that is 10.764. C capitalized value is equal to net income into years purchase, that is 63,000 into 10.764, that is 6,78,132 rupees. Okay, thank you.